Hello, viewers. We just come in a webinar today, like after long days, and we have three different kind of guests along with us, and I'm going to bring them all in front of you, and we'll go for discussion about like address the necessity of new normal life in view of supply chain industry with technological shift. So first of all, I'm bringing Mr. Ahmed Zaki. He's working in a Galaxy Bangladesh as a head of business.
Hello.
Zaki Bhai. Hello, Zaki Bhai.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah. So I'm now bringing Mr. Mike Misner. Hi, Mike.
Hi there, good evening.
All right. So I'm now bringing Mr. Abhishek Sharma. Hi, Abhishek.
Very good evening to everyone.
So
Good evening.
today basically we are going to discuss about the most of all basically about the topic. The topic is basically we have selected the address the necessity of new normal life in view of supply chain industry with technological shift. That means supply chain industry and technology, how we can collaborate it with them. So technological advance and our regular lifestyle are simultaneous and essential realities. So life without technology is now unimaginable. The imagination is basically like the beginning of any advancement, whether technology, commerce, or service. It actually inspires from imagination, and the commitment is to turn imagination into the reality, nothing but entrepreneurship. The COVID-19 viral pandemic, this is a very crucial momentum we are passing now also. Still it is under pandemic situation, so it has shaken the ongoing trend in world trade, and the total world entered into a different dilemma. But the real entrepreneur, however, does not stop but takes adversity as an opportunity to help make global trade more dynamic, which is definitely beneficial for humanity. Today, our guest speakers are the idols in the fields of supply chain in the era of artificial intelligence, and also they are the person who still not basically stop their thinking and the imagination and keep continuing. Mr. Mike Misner, CEO and founder of Lablox, Mr. Abhishek Sharma, founder and CEO of Globify X, Mr. Ahmed Zaki, head of business, Bangladesh, Galaxy Bangladesh. So thank you all. Thank you for joining with us and giving us time, your precious time. So I'm now introducing Mr. Mike Misner. In professional life, Mr. Misner spent in the logistics and supply chain industry. The other half he spent in the hospital and the laboratory testing industry. So we have found that like he has 20 years long experience in the industry of logistics and also in the medical laboratory testing and the equipment setups. So then he comes with an experience of over 10 years and have worked in different markets. I'm talking about Abhishek Sharma. So he has a vast experience in working in the US, Europe, Southeast Asia, and specialize in cross-border markets and upscaling new ideas and businesses. Mr. Ahmed Zaki. Mr. Zaki started his career in the international express industry, and for the last 20 years, he has been working on business development in various verticals of the transportation industry. He is currently working on the necessary integration of supply chain management with advanced technology, which is to ensure the integrated service both for cross-border and domestic supply chain. It is very interesting today that out of our three guests, the two guests have excellent similarities in two respects. That is, Mr. Mike Misner and Mr. Abhishek Sharma are from logistics background, and they have an extensive understanding on information technology. Both of them have juggled their expertise and knowledge and become entrepreneurs of new ventures which are new to this industry and the consumer. What they have in common with Amazaki, our guest from the host country, is that he also comes from a logistic background, keeps an eye on new business launches in our market, and it has involved relationship with Mr. Mike and Mr. Abhishek. Now, we would like to listen from our guest and now turn to Mr. Mike. We are very eager to listen from from Mike about lab logs, journey from the inception, and how, when, and from where lab logs started.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. I feel very honored to be part of this team, this discussion round, and very impressive all of you on your backgrounds. So I'm humbly contributing my piece to it. Basically, as you said it, Fahim, I spent a big part of my professional career in logistics, freight forwarding, project forwarding in Europe, in Southeast Asia, in the Middle East. I've been to Dhaka many times, as well as I've been to India. So for me, fascinating countries with a lot of challenges for sure, but also a lot of opportunities as I see it. And Lapslox, to be very honest and very transparent with you, it's been a barbecue decision. I left logistics and freight forwarding some years ago. I started working in the hospital laboratory industry, supply chain, as well as value chain. And I always missed something. I'm going to tell you in a second what I missed. And this necessity to actually bring transparency to patients and to doctors and medical centers made me come up with the idea of Lapslox. And basically, it's very simple. When you go to the doctor, your doctor asks you, how do you feel? You say, I don't feel very well. In 80% of all cases, it's usually high blood pressure or cholesterol levels due to the way we eat nowadays, the way we sleep, and the way we socialize. So the doctor orders you a blood sample to measure your vitamin, your iron, your cholesterol level, and 3 days later you get your results. And what bothered me for a long time is in these 3 days between the extraction of your blood sample and the doctor telling you your cholesterol is high, that's what they always tell you, you don't know what is happening with your sample. You have no idea how many stations your blood sample or your urine sample passes. You have no idea the temperature they keep it in. You don't even know if it actually leaves the country or if it stays in the country. And then if I look at countries like Bangladesh or India with a very complex infrastructure with long distances, if your sample doesn't maintain a certain temperature, the analysis actually at the end of the day is useless. Plus, I don't want to offend anybody in Europe, in the US, on the Indian subcontinent. A lot of samples actually get reports without ever have seen a laboratory from the inside. Plus, a lot of samples get switched. One of my staff, one of my colleagues, in fact, male received a testing report on his 3 months pregnancy. It's not a joke. It sounds funny, but what I'm trying to say is we don't know what is happening with biological samples. And this goes for clinical diagnostics, this goes for clinical trials, cosmetics, new medicines. And this is something that bothered me. And out of a barbecue with some friends, engineers, business controllers, and myself, this idea of Lapslox was born. The business plan started on a napkin, to be honest with you. So what we did last year in September, we studied the market. I think I spoke until today to about 4,200 stakeholders in the industry all around the globe. And with the help of some engineering friends, with the help of some IT friends, we developed the today called Labsbox. We are just finishing our patenting, and it's an intelligent box to transport biological samples. The box you charge like a mobile phone, a similar technology, and after 4.5 hours, the box is fully charged. You decide the temperature you would like to have, you would like to set for your transport, and the box actually maintains guaranteed 72 hours of the temperature. I mean, we don't stop here. We integrated a microchip technology into the box, meaning we measure humidity, luminosity, which is very important for pharmaceuticals and drugs. We measure G-force now, meaning we know if the box or your samples actually had a rough ride in transportation or a smooth sailing. Plus, the box is only opening by QR code, meaning if you have an access level, you can open the box. If you don't have the authorization, you cannot open the box. Like this, we actually facilitate something very transparent, something very safe, so nobody can actually along the journey open the box and take something out or manipulate anything. Plus, with our IT team, we have developed a mobile and desktop application where you can follow your sample at any time of the journey. You see who and when is touching it. You know exactly where your sample is and which hospital and which laboratory it is going for analysis. And I think this is one of the main features. And all of this we did just before we launched all of this, just about 6 weeks before COVID hit us very hard here in Spain. So it was independent from, it's not an opportunity that arises out of COVID. It is something we wanted to do. And we nowadays, obviously, and of course, we do combine with the current situation.
Interesting, Mike.
Thank you very much. I think
I'm sure. I mean, see, like you said, the subcontinent has definitely, got a poor infrastructure in terms of roads, and especially if I talk about India, it's such a large country, and
Yeah,
there are a
right.
lot of
So,
remote
Abhishek, like
areas. You
I
gave me
have
an
a same
example.
questions to you, like where the Globify X journey, and also like how, when, and from where Globify X started. So if you can explain that.
Sure, fine. Thank you once again, for having me. It's really a great honor, to be part of it, and we hope that we'll be able to contribute at the end of this webinar. All right, so I'll just give you, I'll just quickly run through a small story. A couple of years back, I was, I think I was having some snacks and tea at one of the counters, and I really loved the idea. I asked him, how many more stores do you have? And the person, the owner, told me that he does not have any other stores. And I told him, out of curiosity, I told him that you should be having more stores, because your store is fantastic, and the food is fantastic, the concept is brilliant, you use traditional methods. And he said, yes, we can, but we do not know how to, because the technology is changing so widely, and we do not have the accessibility to it, and we do not even know about it. And after a couple of weeks of the same incidents, I met one of the manufacturers, and I saw some beautiful handicraft products. I told him, where do you sell? He told me that he sells it to intermediators, and then they charge hefty commissions on top of it, or they put a markup, hefty markup. I mean, if they are selling it for, say, $3, they are selling it for $30. And I was
Right.
shocked. I told him that, yes, I mean, it's I pay. I would love to pay $30 or $50 for this product. It's a beautiful product. He told me that I'm only getting $3 out of it. That's when the idea evolved. Uh, I'll just give you a quick brief about what I have been doing. I have been associated with technology and logistics industry, and I have been part of core expert strategy team wherever I have worked in last 10 years. So prior to my current organization, which is my own, I'm one of the founders. I was associated with DTDC, and for over 4 years, wherein I was heading the strategy, and I was heading the cross-border e-commerce solutions. So when the idea
Okay.
evolved, I started by joining the dots. So we started by, bringing in a lot of international players, talking to international players, and finding out the challenges which are, associated with them. So we were providing inbound clearances, all the end-to-end logistics solutions, including inbound clearances, onboarding the clients to different marketplaces, because we had to understand the market, the dynamics of the e-commerce market, inventory management, warehousing solutions, fulfillment solutions, and we had clients across 7, 8 different countries, namely Israel. Israel, we also have our own office in Israel. From UK, we had a couple of clients, Singapore, Hong Kong, and China. Hong Kong and China happened to be the biggest markets for us, and we had the maximum number of clients. We had approximately 150 clients from these countries. So we started working with them, and we provided various solutions like I just mentioned about, and we found out various challenges. The biggest being the commissions that these marketplaces charges. If I want to sell something for $10, as high as 35 to 40%, which is $4, as high as $4 will go to the commissions. And then there were other costs. Logistics costs are you know are skyrocketing these days, because the customers dynamics have changed completely over the last couple of years. They want everything quickly, and they don't want to pay for it. This is a problem,
Right.
and especially in the
Right.
cross-border solutions. So if I want to buy something from Germany, if I want to buy from Bangladesh, I'll pay a cheap price, but I want it immediately. If I pay it today, I would expect that it should come to me next day, and I would not
Right.
want to pay additional, especially for logistics. uh, if you see practically, supply e-commerce or online selling and buying is nothing but it is just connecting the dots and providing the supply chain solutions to the customers. Of course, the layman would not understand that it's the supply chain, it's the logistics which is enabling you to get the access to that product and cheaply. So we identified that there are a number of, now let me get back to my story. So I thought about it that we have already joined the dots, and we understood that these smaller players, and there were we collected a lot of data, we did market surveys, and we found out out of more than 100. So we did a small group size. We did a survey of 100 players who had a potential of selling their own franchisees, and 100 smaller manufacturers who wanted to have their own online presence and get rid of the mediators and get the maximum price for their products. And we found out that over 70%, almost 70% of each category were facing similar difficulties: the commissions, the accessibility to the technology. That's
Right.
wherein the Group 5X was invented. Uh, then we collected more data on, even if somebody is having an online presence, how are they going to market it? Because now everybody wants to go online, but marketing is a tedious task. It requires huge funds. It requires massive funds to market your product. Otherwise, again, you will be getting lost in the jungle. It's like a
Right.
jungle. All right. So we understood that there are so many social media channels, and it is difficult uh, for such players to market their products. Invest, it goes as high as 50, 70%, and for a new entrant it goes more than 100%. There is a recent case study in India which has roughly around 50 million potential customers, and they have spent over 100,000. No, not $100,000. I'm saying $100 million they have spent only in marketing. I'm talking about one of the firms, Cred,
Yeah,
in
this is
India.
a very crucial point, basically.
5 million, you have 5 million potential customers. It's clear, target is clear, and you are spending 100 million to acquire those 5 million. Think about a smaller player.
Right.
So that's where we decided that we are going to create something. We will try to create something unique for such players who has their own brand name, who will be able to have their own online presence, and who will be able to connect to the right prospects. So if you market something, if you put up an ad, it is going to go to 100, 100 odd people, and maybe out of those 100 people, only 20 or 30% will have real time interest in your ad, but eventually you'll have to pay for 100 visitors. That's how the marketing dynamics work.
Right.
So we created globifyx.com, which is an integrated platform which comes with its own products, namely Globify X Connect, X Connect, X Fran, and X Brands. So Globify X Connect is a social media platform for buyers and sellers, primarily for businesses, wherein one has to select their own interest, choose their own interest, and whenever they post any product or any, so we are a no nonsense platform, because these days social media is all about nonsense. You're going to see a lot of hatred, you're going to see a lot of campaigns, you're going to see a lot of things which is going to spread in a moment, and primarily fake news. So we are only targeting the buyers and sellers. It's only for buyers and sellers, that's it. We take the details of the company. In India, we take the GST and PAN number, and we identify these companies. Our backend team, our technology product, uh, evaluates the data, assesses the data, and then we have integrated with some government portal to assess the genuinity of whether the company is genuine or not. So that's how we are creating a pool wherein only the genuine companies participate. Xfran is a platform which enables the franchisors or potential businesses to connect with various franchisees. Xbrands is a platform, is a again it's a integrated part of Globify X, which allows a smaller player, and our target is very clear. We are targeting SMEs, small and medium scale enterprises, the smaller manufacturers, and we give them an opportunity to create their own brand. We help them to create their own website. So it's like a shop in shop kind of a platform wherein you
Okay.
create your own banners, and you will get exact theme. I mean, you can select couple of, we have already integrated couple of themes. You can select from those themes, and you can start selling. One of the very important aspects out, if when we consider in subcontinent, is the bargaining. So we talk about the traditional players. If we talk about our families, if they go to the market, they will definitely bargain. When you talk in B2B, you definitely bargain, be it any continent, be it any market, you definitely bargain in the B2B, even in B2C. What we are providing is that we provide the bargaining power to the buyer, and they directly connect to each other via X Connect. It's a chat, integrated chat platform wherein you can connect, you can exchange the quotes immediately, and you can the buyer or the seller has the capacity to edit the quote, and they can directly connect with each other. Uh, why we decided to have our own chat platform, or we could have easily integrated WhatsApp or any other platform as well. uh, this COVID situation, this has put on back foot, everybody on back foot. uh, I'll just take another example, Zoom. I'm sure that everybody is aware of Zoom.
Yeah.
Zoom is able to post more than 3 million users in a day, and they
Exactly.
were having only 100,000 odd people in a day, in the best of their days, till February. Right after the lockdown was imposed globally, they were able
Correct.
to post 3 million users every single day. We decided that we are going to be an integrated platform wherein there will be least intervention. Nobody has to make a call, nobody has to do use any other third party platform, and everything needs to be done in here. So that's how the Globify X was evolved. We are still an infant. Our beta version is already live, and we hope to enable a lot of sellers and brand owners and smaller players to connect with their prospect customers in coming few months.
Okay.
And one of the important aspects that I missed is we don't charge any
Sure, sure.
commissions. We don't charge any commissions for selling online. So we are providing a free service, absolutely free service for all the brand owners or for all the prospects who wish to create their own brand store and uh, enhance their markets. Uh, After the lockdown was imposed, one of the key thing to note out here is that the government of India has been emphasizing primarily on exports. This is wherein the role of Globify X fits in. And like I said, we are primarily at this moment we are focusing, emphasizing on the Indian players, the smaller players, and I'm sure that they will be able to take the advantage of this platform in the longer run.
Perfect, perfect. So I hope the audience is basically more or less clear about the lab logs and Globify X activities and how they came up with a solution and technological biggest changes. So again, I'm going back to Ms. Mike. Like we want to know basically whether the COVID-19 has a role to play in influencing your ideas in development of your is there any influence in your business, or is there any barriers you are going to face you are facing
Um,
to in regards of lab logs?
so it has a huge influence. But before jumping there, I wanted to say Globify X. I find it very impressive.
Thank you.
I think setting up your own platform as well as your own chat platform, not being dependent on anybody. I think that is very bored in the first place, because I know the programming, I know the bug fixes behind it. And in the first place, this is a challenge. And if you look at Zoom, WhatsApp, and whatever, it seems very convenient to use them. On the other side, congratulations, because you don't depend on anybody. You can actually set your own pace, your own conditions, and on the long run, I think it will benefit you as well as it will benefit your users. And we have done basically the same on our app. One of the features, before I jump into the COVID, because it is related. So we have behind LabSlogs, we have a company called CAPS. CAPS is a technology leader, and one feature of our app is actually that the hospital or the medical center can order a sample pickup, just like you would order an Uber or a Cabify, a taxi service. And here we have a chat option. We have a direct contact to the driver as well. And this is something we did think about. Do we go with WhatsApp services, etc.? At the end, we took the hard way, the longer way. But setting up our own platform, I see now, almost 9 months later, it's a huge benefit for us. So congratulations on
Thank
taking
you.
this decision
Thank
as
you, Mike.
well. I think you will not regret that. Coming to COVID, I said just about 6 weeks before COVID, we opened our facilities, offices. We hired a lot of staff, and
Nice.
suddenly we went on lockdown. And honestly, I didn't know what to do, because I was under house arrest with my family, just like everybody. Out of the situation, basically two ideas were born. One idea, LabSlogs is the first and still one of the only companies in Spain. We teamed up with laboratories, and all the staff that are hired. We hired some additional staff, so we took a huge risk here in actually hiring a doctor, nurses. And what we did is we went from door to door, from office to office, from producing companies, and we actually facilitated COVID testing all across the country, primarily for people with limited mobility, elderlies, or handicapped people, and then in order to support the economy, we actually approached producing companies, food producers, other manufacturers, saying, hey, we want to support. It's not out of profit. It's actually just making use of the situation. At the same time, it helps us to actually test our boxes, test the quality, see if what we promise our clients is really the case. And we've been extremely successful with this. So until today, we have this project line where we at 5 o'clock in the morning have a team of nurses in front of factories actually testing everybody before they start working, schools, kindergartens, as well as we support a lot of small and mid-sized business, the private businesses that Globify X approaches, if I understand that correct, to keep going and to cut the middleman. We, in that respect, on the COVID testing, we in fact we go hairdressers, bakery shops, etc., because these are the backbone of our economy, and so this is one I think big influence for us. Something that was never planned or scheduled, is not directly related to our business or original business idea. On the other side, I see 3 years ago in Bangladesh, in India, as well as all across Europe, biological samples were put on the back of UPS trucks, mixed with the bicycle and the coffee maker from Amazon, and nobody cared about it. There's a contamination, a cross-contamination. Nobody asked question about it. And now with COVID, we see that people actually become more conscious of the fact, actually, it's not only COVID virus, also other diseases could be actually at risk when transporting these samples, meaning we make use of the current situation to inform, educate. We don't want to scare anybody, but we actually try to educate medical centers, saying, hey, if you have a cancer cells, if you have DNA samples, you shouldn't be mixing them with the bicycle of your neighbor from Amazon in the same truck. And so we do a lot of educational information work, and I see more awareness in the market, and we have decided for the time, or we have decided for the first year to actually only establish the Spanish Peninsula, serving this 40-something million people here, also helping us to understand the dynamics, to test our products before we now preparing to make our moves outside of Spain. But yeah, these two points are definitely our COVID impacts as well as learnings, facilitating tests to people who are not reaching the doctor, or to companies who actually depend on having their staff constantly in production lines, as well as creating awareness that COVID is, yes, it's a dramatic thing which has a lot of impact to all of us, but there's so many other diseases that when we test, when we transport samples, I as a patient, I want to know what is happening with my sample. I want to know that the result, the report corresponds to my report, to my sample, and with this we create a lot of more awareness due to the COVID situation, of course.
I
Thank you, Mike.
something very interesting to say to Mike. There is in your situation, there is a very famous Chinese proverb that fits exactly, absolutely in your situation, which is, when there is a crisis, there is an opportunity. I think, the way when I heard about your company, when Zaki Bhai and Rashid told me about your firm, I was pretty excited about it, because this is the need of the hour. And like you said, during the first part of your discussion and the conversation, you said that a lot of samples gets mixed, and especially the temperature. Even if they are not getting mixed, I mean, the right kind of temperature needs to be, the sample needs to be kept in the right kind of temperature. And if it is not done, even if the right sample is going, the test is waste, absolutely waste. And especially in case of the COVID, a lot of wrong samples, or a lot of I'm sure that you guys must be aware that a lot of negative reports are coming in, as in default or faulty negative reports are coming in.
Yeah, because of mismatch
Yeah,
and
not even
wrong
mismatch. For example,
wrong
if
processing.
there is a person who is COVID positive and he gets tested because of various issues. It could be a sample, it could be a temperature issue, it could be a faulty machine, but he is declared as COVID positive. After certain tests,
Yes.
this found out that it is COVID positive. It's a
Yeah.
challenge. That this is where a lot of underreporting is happening, and especially in the subcontinent. Do you think that India only has cases of say 6 or 7 million? I'm sure that it is more than that. A recent report says that out of 10 people, 8 or 7 to 8 people are already COVID positive, and more than 50% out of those positive cases, everybody has recovered because it's a young population, and immunity is stronger. So nobody, a lot of people does not even know whether they are COVID positive or not. And this idea of labs fits in absolutely fantastically. I think it's a brilliant product.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Abhishek. Abhishek, I have same questions to you, like whether COVID-19 has a role to play in influencing your business development or any barriers you are facing during this momentum.
To be very honest, yes, it has. I was in Singapore. I came back to India last month only, and I was in Singapore. We were in touch with couple of big time investors, because if you have to run an online business, you require huge funding in a matter that you would require huge marketing budgets, because
Yeah,
online is
exactly.
something
I'm agree with you.
I was just giving an example of $100 million budget only for the marketing. So I was in touch with them, and we were in very advanced stages before the lockdown happened. In fact, we registered our own firm in Singapore because that's our next target, along with Singapore and India. So we have a NDA with them. I'll come on to that later. So if you see in last couple of months, because of the global economy is going on the back foot, a lot of conglomerates are also facing the challenges, and especially the startups. A lot of startups have already shut down their shops. We also faced some challenges. We had couple of plans. We hired couple of people. So we had plans for next 18 months, and before the lockdown, yes, of course we have plans for next 2 years now. But before the lockdown, we had complete set of planning that okay, we are going to hire in this domain and that domain. And all of a sudden, the lockdown was imposed. It was impacted, so we had to cut down on our cost. Uh, but yes, I mean, like I was just mentioning to Mike, when there is a crisis, there is an opportunity. So the opportunity, how we could encash this opportunity was that some of the costs were given up. For example, the office, the rents were waived off because we were not using the offices. uh, a lot of people, the because you have to cut down on the staff, the admin, the non-necessary people had to be laid off, uh, which is not right, to be very honest. But it's difficult for any startup to survive, and if they have to work in the longer run. And besides that, we had some extra time to develop more products, and which we did. So like for example, we decided that we are going to have our own X Connect, the chat feature, in the next phase. So we had enough time during this lockdown when the operations were not running, so we implemented the same. And initially there were a couple of challenges in terms of getting the right set of productivity, but then we came across couple of technology softwares, wherein we could boost up the productivity, and we were able to achieve our targets that we were supposed to achieve maybe 6 months down the line. So there were 2 or 3 phases that we were supposed to complete in next year February, and we were able to complete it in last month. So of course, but yes, I mean, in a nutshell, the real challenge that we faced is the investments that we were expecting, and it has gone on a standstill. And now we have started. I mean, we have resumed our talks, and hopefully, and if everything is fine by the end of this year, we should be able to market it as per our initial plans. But yes, couple of plans were delayed, because of the COVID situation.
Yeah. So thank you, Abhishek. I'm sure like there is a huge also opportunity during this COVID lockdown. Like you can rethink about your future plan. You can really chalk out basically the plan. Chalk out is basically enormously you can do due to first 3 months pandemic because of no one can go out without permissions. So let's go with Mr. Zaki. And Zaki bhai, I know you basically in a different way. Basically, uh, since long. Basically, uh, we worked together, and I found you one of the informative person in this generation. So let's question along with him. And Mr. Ahmed Zaki, as a business development specialist, you must have understood that these new opportunities will affect us and have significance in one market. How do you consider it in view of new normal life or more to come, Zaki bhai?
Yeah, thank you, Fami. I just like to take some advantage of being a guest of from the host country actually, as we already listen and as we already get the input from the trade philosopher actually, who
Right.
already converted their philosophy into an action and they become entrepreneur. So we understand that how does a trade philosopher thought, what kind of obstacles and barriers they faced during this course of time. Actually, the more advanced term, which is we understand after the COVID period, that it is not epidemic, it is pandemic. So it is a bit massive and it's absolutely huge. And it is, the disruption always in every business, in every trade and commerce or any activities, disruption is a part of these actions. But here, disruption is a bit acute. It's in a larger
Right.
scale. So I would love to give your answer. Uh, I would love to give your answer first from your second question, actually. And the reason that I would like to give this answer because today's discussion that the necessity and about the new normal life and technological transformation, digital transformation, these all are we are started talking very vastly, very intensely during this 7 8 months lockdown time. So, what I'd like to highlight, I'd like to highlight that this created different digital transformation, of course, a very dynamic digital transformation, which actually due the way the enter digitization already advanced in our life, but it's still there's a plenty of room that it can be incorporated in our daily life. Now, what happened? COVID-19 push, they, they just press the first forwarding button in our life so that we immediately incorporate with this kind of digital platform in our life to ease and to break through or come out from the homebound life. And these allow us come out from the imprisonment and we are still connected through the virtual world. So that is the reason that we can still share our mind thoughts. We can share the process. We can share the uh, the commercial dialogue. The not only commercial dialogue. If we want to give any charity kind of things, any consultation, it can be happen through this platform. I just want to share another very important and a very interesting piece of information that COVID-19 also created different terms, or they established the old terms or traditional terms in a different way or different perception. Like lockdown. Lockdown used to that use in the political terminology. Absolutely in political terminology, lockdown, curfew, blockades, this kind of things. But now, what happens? We started lockdown to give an understanding to the society that if you are aloof from the gathering or public place, if you can confine yourself in a restricted place, at least you cannot get contaminated. if you are well, if you're maintaining a good health. So that is the thing that COVID started changing the terms into a different perspective in our understanding, which is also creating a new business opportunities like Lablogs. It is also creating the opportunities even for Globify X, where people cannot interact physically, where people cannot do meet and greet, where people cannot mingling like before. But this terminological shift, this mindset, the change of mindset, and the necessity of interact with others also allow us to think differently, and which is creating a business ground for us. And here, I would like to thank Mr. Mike and Mr. Abhishek that their different way of thinking, they create into an action and become entrepreneur to sell the product into the market, and also give as a buyer, we are also getting a freedom to do our lab testing, to do our hospital, hospital to get our hospital facilities at home. This is because of the way they are thinking and the way they design the process, considering the technological advances. And Mr. Abhishek also thinking that it would be a social platform where B2B sellers, where small and medium kind of entrepreneurs, they can come and sell their product to the international market. This is a very, I would say that a very, very unique piece of things, and we appreciate and we are welcome in our market, in our kind of market, so that they can also extend their product here and facilitate us to present ourselves in the global market and also get the benefit as a customer in our market. Now, I just want to give my understanding that they're the philosopher, they're creating the product, and where we are. If we can think like that way, that their thinking process and their way of creating a product may not match in our market, like Bangladesh. So I'm here as a business development specialist to set and to build in the local language, local demand, and local way of understanding, so that we can sell not only the product we used to know in the market, we can also sell the new product is coming in the global platform, and that we can sell it in our market. That is my specialty. And I just want to share the thing that you asked me, that how do you consider in view of new normal life?
Yeah.
New normal
Right.
life is an umbrella term actually. In that term, there is a lot of considerations and lot of understanding involved in this term. In Europe, what happens? The life in Europe and USA, the life quality of life and the standard of living is almost same and very, very upscale. But here in our country, where the competition, or I would not say the competition, the conflict between the life and the livelihood is a big question right now. So the consideration is different. It's still very difficult for us to confine ourselves, or it's still very difficult for us to aloof ourselves without get involving in the production line. You know that ready-made garments, it's a huge labor intensive work, and we need to ask our labor come and join at your workplace, because we need production. We need to sell it to the international market. So we have to, we are inviting our workers to come in a factory and do manufacturing, so that they can still pumping our economy by earning the foreign currency. Here, the new normal life in Western world and in our world is not same, because in our new normal life, actually what we are experiencing in our normal life, every day we are facing new challenges and unprecedented challenges. So accepting challenges, accepting or combating the new challenges in our life, it is not at all normal. Every day is a new normal. New normal sitting in South Asian countries, as a people of South Asian countries, is our experience. So I just like to define such a way that the new normal concept here in Bangladesh is something like we will do uh, we will assemble ourselves in a workplace, we will make gathering, we will work together, but we have to keep ourselves in a sensible way, we have to take protection in a sensible way, so that we can ensure that we are not contaminated by each other, but the regular life will be move on the way it used to be. And in Europe, what is happening right now before the winter, people started, that sitting at their home are more domesticated and maintain their life, but they can do their work sitting at their home, which is not possible in our way. So I am, as a business specialist, is try to creating a bridge to get the new concept from the Western world and incorporate it in your life, so that we can also get the benefit of the digital transformation in our new normal life sitting in Bangladesh. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Zakir, for a nice expressions. And again, I'm coming back to Mike. Like social distance is no handshake currently we're doing, and virtual meet and greet are becoming part of a life. And incorporated as now common, it has become really easy to adopt and still have as many happy pockets because we are connected through the internet, and our life is ruled by IT. We understand that your business is equipped with IT infrastructure and AI, but what kind of issues, barriers are you looking at in the ongoing competitions? Like, though it's a very new what I feel in South Asia, but in your areas or like Europe and other areas, like whether how you are looking at in the ongoing competitions.
To be very honest with you, and I don't want to sound any arrogant, we have no competitor. We will surely have a lot of people trying to copy us, and this is why we went as one of the first big moves for us to actually secure a very complex patenting. So
Okay.
very difficult to copy our technology. However, I'm sure that companies will try and copy us. On the other side, what we do is we have indirect competitors. So if you look at parcel companies, DPD, UPS, you could think that they're indirect competitors to us because they handle biological samples today, even though they don't handle it in a way that they should be handling it. But we do approach them and say, hey, why don't we team up together? We don't come into your way on commodities like bicycles or coffee makers from Amazon. And we give you a hand with everything that is biological samples for the sake of the safety of your clients, of people like you and me, because it's our samples. So we do team up with a lot of parcel companies, but quite frankly, there's nobody who's really competing with us. And it's in a way it's a comfortable situation because I think we are 2 or 3 steps ahead of our competition, of our future rising competition, because sooner or later somebody will come, may it be from Asia Pacific, or may it be from Eastern Europe, maybe it be from India, Bangladesh, as well from the US. So we try to be ahead, or we try to maintain this 2, 3 steps ahead of our competition, also in the future. But today, frankly, I don't have a competitor, and I think in a way this is very comfortable. But on the other side, I don't want any of our team to have this sense of satisfaction because it may change overnight. So we are aware of this, and I'm trying to be ahead of the market also in the future. But today there's nobody who really compete. So there are companies like World Courier or Kuehne+Nagel who do cold chain on pharmaceuticals, moving aircrafts and air charters and these kind of things. However, the moment they have to wait in Mumbai airport on customs entry for the 5 hours that the cargo is staying around at the terminal and the airport, there's no cold chain assurance, because what they do
Yeah,
is
right.
they put some dry ice, they cover it, but there's no transparency, there's no digital assurance towards the customer that the temperature is maintained. So in that respect, I don't see anybody competing with us. I see companies asking us, Mike, can we buy your box? A lot of logistics companies asking, can we please buy your box? Because in preparation of vaccinations and stuff, this would be highly interesting. However, we're not about to sell our main USP, so this is not going to happen. Very clearly, I'm not going to change my opinion on this. So I don't see the competitor really directly next to me today.
Yeah, right, right. I'm
Mike,
sure.
yeah, I have a supplementary question that
Yeah, carry on,
we have
carry on.
yeah, we have discussed about the clinical pathological specimen, but could you please shed some light that lab logs, it has a unique name positioning, to be very honest with you, lab logs, the laboratory and logistics. So that lab is only affiliated with the pathological and the hospital laboratory, or industrial laboratory is also another wing that you are also considering?
Anything that is considered to be a biological sample is the scope of lab logs. Meaning, it can be your next door, it can be your doctor, it can be a cosmetic sample in clinical trial, because cosmetic samples, before cosmetics reach the retail market, there's extensive testing on pesticides, chemicals, allergens, as well as your tomato from your farmer next door, before he releases his tomatoes into retail market. A certain testing on pesticides, glyphosates, whatever he used to enrich the color or to enhance the growth. These kind of things have to be tested. So it is automatically, before the testing, considered to be a biological sample. The same for national cancer research, industrial testing facilities. Whenever it is a biological sample, it is our target.
Okay. I mean,
Correct, correct.
I think,
So
Mike, you need to get it
I'm
patented if it is
coming back to
possible.
Abhishek. Abhishek, I have the same questions to you. Like, is
Yeah,
there any barriers are you looking at in your ongoing competitions? Like, you are in the. I understand. Like, there are some people matching with your concept, like like Amazon. But I'm sure you have already explored that one and explained that one. Like, this is absolutely different part. So if you can elaborate that one, then it will be easier for the audience.
absolutely. Thank you. I'll just, make a point. Mike, I think you need to get it patented. The technology is brilliant. I
No,
haven't heard
yeah,
of a product.
we are
And you
patenting as much as we can.
absolutely, absolutely. And then you don't have to worry about it. Just worry about the users. You don't have to worry about the competition. That's our actually, motto. We don't worry about the competition. We don't have anything to lose, to be very honest. We are a startup. We are a newcomer. And Fahim told me that, there is Amazon, there is Flipkart. See, we don't compete with them. We are not even near to similar to them. Of course, online buying and selling is one thing, but we are not, something what Amazon is doing so far. And we
Right.
are not, we don't even plan to, reinvent or recreate the wheel. It's already, doing well, and it's absolutely, they are in a different domain. Our target is absolutely different. Our target is, like I have been saying, our target is SMEs. We are helping them. We are trying to give them a platform wherein they can create their own store. Shopify, I'm sure that a lot of audience or might be having their stores on Shopify platform. They can go, they can use various plugins. What we are saying that, but still, I mean, you are using a third party source. We are saying that you use only one single platform and everything is done by you, and it is absolutely easy to use. Uh, the why I am emphasizing on the smaller and SME players, smaller and medium enterprises, is that they have their own set of challenges. If you a lot of players, I'm going to talk about India and subcontinent. I'm sure the dynamics goes very similar in Bangladesh as well. If we talk about the traditional players, it is difficult for them to even access Facebook. I mean, if you see the traditional players, they will find a lot of difficulties. They know how to use smartphones, but they do not know
True.
how to, uh, uh, access various apps which are running. It's difficult
Yeah,
for
correct,
them
correct.
to understand it. So what we are trying to them, enable them is that if you know how to use a smartphone, the basic of it, you can definitely run your own store online. Now, coming back to on your question, you said that this is a new normal, the social distance, no handshake. So I think it's a boost to the business and enable those who didn't have an online presence and enable them to come online. I gave an example in the first part of the Zoom, which posted a daily number of users of more than 300 million. I said I think I said 3 million. But it's 300 million plus every single day from 100,000. Think of the power of the
Wow.
internet. India has got the largest internet penetration, or second largest for
Yeah,
that.
right, right.
Second largest number of smartphone users, and it is going to surpass very soon, and it is going to be number one. Uh,
Yeah,
Initially,
because of like we have a good news from a geo integration and collaboration with Facebook and other stocks.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
definitely, it's a big
It is.
market for the internet and the
It is huge. It is huge.
devices.
And these markets are primarily price driven. You have to provide everything for cheap or free. And sometimes, trust me, if you tell the customers that we are going to pay you and give the product, they will be happiest out in India. No, jokes apart.
In South Asia, that's the practice and the culture.
I know, I understand. Nobody wants to pay. But now that the things are changing, the dynamics are changing, people want to pay, people want to have the access of the international products, international technology. You see, online, I mean, it's primarily driven by three things. Either it's unique, either it's cheap, or either it is difficult to obtain cross border. We talk about. So
Something
yes,
like new, right? Something like
some, yeah,
innovative.
of course, of course. So initially, yes, we had a couple of challenges of the new normal. The productivity was one of the challenges. Initially, yes, a lot of happy faces. They don't have to come to office. They could spend extra time with their family. They had extra savings. Of course, if we see the real scenario, they had extra savings, which was going in the traveling part, in the traffic. But over a period of time, it changed. People started to they were getting frustrated because working from home, as it sounds easy initially, but later words the productivity reaches an optimal initial, and then it starts to come at a diminishing rate. So this is one of the areas that we had to address, and wherein we had to bring in the IT, wherein we had to introduce the new technologies, new softwares, which could engage the employees, engage the manpower, engage the users, which is a new norm. And I think it is going to take years to keep this engagement going on, because be it users, be it your own people, engagement is one of the key aspects to growth. And COVID's vaccine, I don't see, if a miracle happens, then it might get developed soon. But usually, if you see an average time period to develop a vaccine, it goes as high as 6 to 7 years.
One,
I might be
yeah,
wrong,
right.
right? Mike can
Yeah,
comment
right,
on that.
right. No, you are correct. You are correct.
7
And
years.
also, like in the bookish, the very special days is maybe like if it is a maximum reduces time, that's also like 1.5 years. So there is no option basically another
Only if
1 year.
a miracle happens. So what happens in such
Right.
a scenario? It's only the information technology. It's the
Correct.
technology
Correct.
which play a major role in boosting.
Yeah, it's
And
enabling people basically, and also like it is a huge innovations coming up. like the way we are now talking each others, like Mike is in German and you are in India and we're in Bangladesh. So but it's still like the discussions and the webinar is giving the opportunity to explore and to understand the new ideas and innovations towards people, towards viewers, towards audience. And it's very, very, very huge, in normal days we might not do this one, and nobody even bothered to hear that.
No, so the
Uh,
biggest opportunity that we are in cashing upon is, see, the last year,
Correct.
I'll just share some numbers. Till last year, it was expected that by 2020 end, the e-commerce market of India itself is going to cross 126 billion. After the lockdown was imposed, it is said, it is expected that it is going to cross $300 billion in next 2 years.
Ooh,
In next two
say.
years only in India. Just because of this COVID situation, people are not comfortable in going out buying stuff offline. They would like to come
Correct.
online. That's where we are trying to come in picture. And still,
Correct.
but their habits are not going to change. The bargaining habits, they are
Yeah,
not going.
exactly.
So you have to provide them some source wherein they can bargain, they can come to a conclusion, and they can have one-to-one chat with their respective sellers. This is where Globify X comes in picture. And like
Abhishek,
I said, yeah, yes, please, Zaki bhai.
yeah, I just cut your what you are explaining right now. I just cut you, but uh, from the point of SME sitting here in Bangladesh, SME, that entrepreneurs, they are facing a challenge to showcasing their product in Amazon because
Okay.
they need to send their shipments to Amazon fulfillment center. If the
Hmm.
product is not sold on time, it is really expensive for them to bring back the product to the origin country. So
Absolutely.
there is a lot of cost involved. In that case, they want a solution and they want a platform how they can showcase their product and they can reach their product to the customer by 72 to 96 hours time, and there would have not that kind of challenges if it is not uh, if it is not sold on time. They could not pay extra money out of their pocket. So do
Okay.
you have any kind of suggestion or do you have anything any feature in your portal?
Okay, this is one of the most normal situations that we assessed prior to lockdown. So there are two types of model. One is inventory-based model, wherein you keep the inventory, like you already mentioned, that you keep the inventory at the local warehouse, or for example, if it is in India, if you're selling in India, you keep the stock in India, and then whenever it is getting sold, you get the fulfillment solution that we were providing. Next is that you only do the order-to-order basis. Order-to-order basis, in the longer run, it is not very profitable. Reason being, the volumes. See, e-commerce is all about volumes. Either it is high price and high margins, or second, it is about volumes. uh, if you think that somebody can fulfill the orders on order-to-order basis, somebody gets the order and he is able to ship out the product, and we are able to clear it in next 24 to 48 hours, it's absolutely fantastic. However, uh, in this case, if we talk about currently, we are primarily focusing, Globify X is primarily focusing on the exports, especially because of the government norms which has changed over, after the lockdown. Because there's a lot of, I'm sure that that there's a lot of global pressure on China. India and China is in a war zone kind of stuff. So it is difficult to get the, so India has primarily put a ban on various imports, and they cannot put a ban on one country, because globally it is not possible. They have a lot of pressure. So what they have to do is they have to play a smart game, and diplomatically they have to put a ban on the ban, in a way that they have to just restrict the imports from all the countries. So if you send something, I do not know whether you are facing such challenges, but it is going to take a lot of time. What we are trying to do later words, we have a solution, which is India entry strategy, and there is an advisory team, which is an in-house team, which enables the local players and connect with Bangladeshi or international players, who can tie up with them, and they can directly sell on Globify X, and they can work on order to order or inventory based model. They can create their own store. For example, instance, Zaki Bhai has a brand name by the name of ABC Limited. He ties up with one of the advisory panels that we are going to appoint. ABC is going to manage their own store on globifyx.com. However, all the documents, everything legally, it is going to be the local firm because of the FDI norms and challenges. When the
Right.
when the sale starts happening, the local firm remits the money back to the overseas firm. That's the easiest solution at this moment. But till the things get eased out, we won't be able to comment on any of the solutions. It is going to take some time because again it's on the political and diplomatic levels. But yes, the
Yeah,
government
like
of the country, the government of the
in
country is definitely boosting.
intercountry exchange or call tax and others,
Absolutely, absolutely,
VATs
absolutely.
and others. So yeah,
But
exactly. Like yeah,
the
carry
government of
carry
the
on.
country, the government of the country, India, is definitely focusing, emphasizing on the exports, and that's where we try to come in picture. And you asked me one question that how about the competition? See, like I said, we are a startup. We don't have any competition. All we care is about users. The user experience is great. We are absolutely happy. We are in a happy zone. We
Right,
are
right.
only worrying about our users.
Great. So, thank you, Abhishek. Like, let's come again to go back to Mike. Mike, and also like it's towards Abhishek also. Like, do you have any plan for Bangladesh establishment or like starting operation in Bangladesh? Like, who is going to talk first? Like Mike or Abhishek?
Maybe before I jump into this question, two things. First of all, I think it's the right attitude. We shouldn't be worrying about competitors currently. And I promise you, the more success you will have, the more haters you will have, and the more people will try. No,
That's true.
sorry, very frankly, it is like that. But it actually says, first of all, it says a lot about your competitors. It says a lot about the character of people, and it gives you a certain confirmation that something you're doing extremely well. So quite frankly, we shouldn't worry too much about it. And every message, positive or negative, first of all, it's a good publicity, and second of all, if you get a negative feedback from your client or whoever, it's the push, your motivation to actually improve and to move on. So I think this is very positive, and the more people talk about who talk about you, the better for you, the better for your brand. That's really how I see it, and I couldn't care less as long as I'm true to myself, to my clients, and to my team. Second point, I just figured out that there's a chat running here. And I see a lot of interesting comments, and I just wanted to say thank you for all the comments and the feedback. It's highly appreciated. I just realized there was a chat and comment option. So thanks everybody. Um,
Yeah.
as I maybe said earlier, we have been focusing only on the Spanish market for the time being. Also
Right.
with COVID, we have been very limited in traveling abroad. But in fact, and this is no joke. In fact, our first country of expansion will be Bangladesh. So this is in fact now decided and scheduled and prepared within our plans. We do have a second eye into the West Coast, California, US. But our priority for now is Bangladesh, meaning it's a challenge. It's an honor as well because it's a huge country. It's I think a huge contribution, possibility, opportunity for us to make transportation, cold chain, and digital intelligence for live mattering samples transparent. I cannot tell you today if we will start the 1st of January or 1st of March, but I believe we will be within Q1 2021 entering the Bangladesh market. Obviously, from there we would then definitely go into India. So for me, without offending anybody cultural wise. This is not my intention, but for me, I see Bangladesh and India more as brothers, as very important neighbors strategically. At least for us, this will be a strategic neighborhood, as well as our point of expansion. So our first point will definitely be Dhaka, and from there, over the next couple of years, we will definitely try to bring value into the Indian subcontinent, definitely. But like I said, Q1 2021 is realistic. We are in the middle of preparations, and this will be our first big project outside of Europe, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited. Currently with COVID, not that excited that I can't physically travel as I want, because in fact I had plans already last month to be on your time zone, but being positive that this will happening hopefully now with the second wave slowing down somewhere in November, for sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike. Abhishek, like I'm coming to you now. Like as I already got the answer, but it's still like audience might gonna hear something from your end, like whether you have a plan to set out your operation in
All
Bangladesh.
right. So if I talk about, our next 2 years plan, we definitely focus on India because it's such a big market,
Yeah,
1.35 billion people already. But yes, we
it's
definitely
huge.
have a couple of aspirants, because see, one thing which is unique about Bangladesh is the exports of the garments. The garments business, even we are not able to match it. No,
Yeah,
it's
correct, correct,
absolutely cheap labor and good quality. The bigger brands like Gap and Gus, everything is getting produced in Bangladesh. So which gives us
correct.
an opportunity to see the possible synergies between Globify X and Bangladesh market. We can definitely explore. There are a couple of aspirants who wish to, because one of the parts, so we do not market it widely, but one of the advisories that we have our own internal team, which provides the advisories to international firms or the domestic firms, is how to source or from where to source. So
Yeah, right.
that's where we can definitely see how we can possibly formulate the mutual strategies and come up with some action plans. But at this moment, yes, the plan is for India and Singapore. Singapore for primarily for the for other investment reasons, and it's a
Yeah,
good
right.
market. It's very well paid
Correct.
market. Have in fact, and my base is also in Singapore. I
Okay.
am primarily operating from Singapore. I'm in India. I came back last month only. By the way,
Okay.
I'll go off topic. Mike, I could find out. I'm able to make out of the images. A lot of positivity is coming from the back wall of you. One is Nelson Mandela. One is Warren Buffett. I think so, right?
Yes, yes,
Is it
correct.
one is Rafael Nadal?
And Federer, as I do
Another one?
call them.
It's not very clear.
And I think,
I
left
can't.
and right, you have the former king of Thailand. I spent
I know. I know. I know. I know.
7 years in Southeast Asia.
Yes.
Uh, 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 so I do have some more, but you
Wow.
will see my offices are filled with inspirational people. It's a sort of motivation to read those phrases whenever you think or you doubt that you're on the right track, and this I'm sure you agree with me. When you're a startup, big investors don't want to listen to you because you're just saying nobody wants to take the risk. You have to take a lot of decisions. You
Yes,
have to
absolutely.
take a lot of wrong decisions to learn from them.
Correct.
So whenever I feel like maybe I should have stayed with my well-paid job, then these pictures, these phrases do help me, remind me of why am I doing what I'm doing. So you will find them around our offices, basically everywhere.
Because we were just talking
Great.
about positivity. Mike was talking about positivity, so I was not able to recognize all the images because slightly blurry. So I thought that I should mention. But he's absolutely right. So anyway, I just went off topic, but yes,
All right.
like I was coming on to. Let me come back to the topic. So yes, we have plans to enhance and explore the Indian market, and then we will see how things work out in the Indian market, and then we will explore the new markets. But yes, the Singapore is on the radar. It's already work in progress, and India at this moment.
Correct. Oh, thank you, Abhishek. Just we're basically almost closing hours is coming in a front. So at this point, like I'm asking Abhishek, like, do you have any suggestions for Lablogs through your like portal, like like something like integration can be happen like within you and Lablogs.
See, one thing which, in fact, I'll be, discussing with you privately as well, and uh, we just need to assess how we are going to enter the Indian market. And Mike has rightly decided that India, Bangladesh, even the emerging economies are the best markets and unorganized markets, to be very honest, to be precise, wherein the infrastructure is not good, and especially, these pandemics or smaller epidemics could become pandemics easily. I think his product fits in very, very well in such markets. How we can collaborate is that, for instance, such kind of products require some partnerships or their direct presence in India or distributorship. Uh, we can definitely explore a store for him in the franchisee domain, in ex-fran domain, wherein if you would
Yeah, correct.
require more distributors, so it can be easily done from there. So this is what can be done if I talk about the mutual collaboration between Globify X and X Labs,
Lablogs. All right.
Lablogs. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you.
A lot of X is going
Mike,
on.
Mike, what you are thinking, like, if as you said, like the Bangladesh will be next level of expansion from a Lablogs. So in that sense, like as Abhishek said, also like the Indian market is a huge number of opportunities, and there is a big geographical maps also. Like you can see, like there is a millions of human. So in that sense, like the medical situation, like health situation in both of this country are bit of uh, like similar. So in that sense, like if there is any opportunity to get the collaboration with Globify X, like whether are you going to interested on that?
Yes, definitely, and I think we will definitely beyond this video chat. I think we will definitely be in touch, exchange, and think of the ways that we can benefit from each other. I am very sure of that, and thinking of franchisee networks, but apart from that, also using the experience that you guys have made actually setting up a company in India. I think will be enormous benefit for us. Just the experience, the knowledge, the right and the wrong mistakes that you can do. I think we will have a lot of things to continue discussing and talk about beyond this program here today. So I'm very sure we will be in touch and have more following conversations. How in really particular we can use or make use of technology from one another. This is something we would need to sit down and have a look in detail together. In any way, I'm very honored and I'm very thankful to have had the opportunity here to first of all listen as well as contribute to my piece or to my piece to it. However, and as I said in the beginning, I've been many times to India as well as Bangladesh, and I know that from a European perspective, in terms of infrastructure, things may be different or more developed, but from a cultural point, from a value point, I think both sides we can contribute and learn so many things from each other. So I'm for me, this is a question of mutual understanding, respect, common sense, and I know there are some people out there who think if I'm American, or if I'm Asian, or if I'm European, or if I'm Indian, I'm both this or this. For me, this is nonsense. I think I've been living in 13 countries. I managed to learn 7 times the language in the countries that I've been living in. And for me, this has been an honor and a pleasure. And there's no such country as being the best. I have learned in every country. I have complained in every country as well. It is like that. It's like your job or your company. It's never going to be perfect. It's the same with you. However, stick to your vision because our vision is the perfection of our way. We will always aim to get there. Maybe we never reach it, but keep in mind and keep inside your vision, and everything else will be solved by mutual understanding, respect, and common sense.
Thank you, Mike. Let's come up with a Zakir bhai, like I want your not few words. I want your basically closing words, and also like the total elaboration and the bridging the both of them today. So I want your voice over this. Like, so can you please few words from your before closing?
First of all, I would like to thank through you to Mr. Mike and Mr. Abhishek for giving their valuable time, and it became a thought-sharing session actually, and which will definitely give a lot of inputs to our audience. Just before closing, I just want to share the potential of our country is that the number of smartphone user in Bangladesh is around 8 million currently in Bangladesh.
Correct.
And total internet user is around 66.5 million here in Bangladesh right now. And if you look at our BTRC data, which is our Bangladesh Telecom Regulatory Commission data, you will find there are 163 million people are using mobile phone. The subscription number is 163 million. Very encouraging figure. So potential in Bangladesh for any digital platform is enormous. This is one side. And Abhishek started his discussion with about investment in this, technological platforms, that he mentioned that it requires a huge investment to marketing the product. Actually, am I right, Abhishek? You mentioned marketing term. The marketing
Yeah,
requires a huge
in the startup business, like it's a huge requirement.
And very nicely, Mike is also ending his speech with investment, perspective. So now the question is that in any country or any investor is thinking about ROI first, and their consideration is socio-economic condition of the country. that I just try to portray in my conversation that I give my inputs that time, that Bangladesh socio-economic condition is, to be very honest, it is a very good, very sound. It requires a bit of tuning, and I could say that it is whether well organized or not. This is another question, another debatable agenda, but that is not our issue. But what I'd like to mention that people are here is using huge number of smartphone. People are also connected. Almost all the people are connected right now with the mobile phone, and the internet user is also significant. So this country where we can think to bring the new concept, just what I mentioned, that it requires a specialist who can convert the local language, local demands, and local inputs so that any product which gets success in the international market also gets success in our market. That is from my side to convey the message through you to the audience. Thank you. Thank you for giving all of your time to today's discussion.
I think you are on mute.
Yeah, right. Sorry. Uh, thank you all, and thank you, Mike. Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you, Zakiwai, to bridging the session and also like to bringing two very dynamic, innovative businessman, like those who are not basically stop themselves during the just to think about the only pandemic. They think about the future. They think about the world dimensions and also the changes is required. Which segment that is absolutely basic needs requirements. That means like the health sector, and also like the way Abhishek is introducing them, that also very I would like to say like this very easiest solutions he has brought, because of there are huge number of entrepreneur are basically not to have that much of huge number of investment. So other than that, to explore their business ideology and explore their business ideas to towards customer, uh, Abhishek is helping them in a very dynamic way. And as he said, like this is his next point is basically going to be a Singapore as is a good market, and he needs a margin because of the startup always think about the margin initially. Without that, that's the dreams not never comes to true. So money also budget and the investor mentalities and everything. So all over basically you have to maintain. And the Mike, we are welcoming to you, and definitely like if it is a good deal and the good opportunities, the Bangladesh will gonna get basically a service from your company, and definitely we can erase the logistic cold chain solutions like travels that's basically we don't have right at this moment. We have to wait like 3 days 4 days just to do the domestic transformation. As I said in the beginning, like our one district to another district, sometimes it goes like 300 kilometer plus. So due to that reason, like we have a road transport and the rail transport, and also like some of air transport also be available, but the boxes you prepared, that's absolutely different because of like it can be carryable in the air also. So that's a USP, because of like some points basically if I use the cock sheet, like we know the cock sheet like everyone using in past life, like to freeze the like to use the what it the gel ice or like other ice matters. So definitely, it's a different kind of service, which is also, as I heard, that like the boxes can be chargeable. Is within the it's like as mobile, right? So it's a devices only. So you can charge through your car charger also. You can charge through your or through in the movement in between the moving the
Right.
box. It is required the charge. It could be charged through the portable charger also, right? The
Correct.
20,000 portable charger we are using for
No,
charging the mobile.
it would need to be one of the bigger ones. So I think 9,000 milliampere. it would
No,
start further.
we are using 20,000 milliampere, so
But
it's a very
in your car, you can charge it any pickup truck you can charge if you really need it, because domestic use 72 hours as we
okay.
learned it, and
Lifetime is there, right?
we have clients from Bogota, Colombia, with stop in Panama City, with stop in Houston, US, then coming to Europe, and we've never come to the limit of the 72 hours.
Yeah, right. So yeah, in Bangladesh also, like the medicine producers company, those who are looking for this service also, like they needs to send the samples to Noida and also to Germany for the testing and the lab testing and others. So it is easy to carry through this box and all. So thank you all, thank you audience, thank you everyone to give us a time and give me this time and precious time, and from your busy hours you have spent it a lot, and thank you all. Definitely we'll meet again, we'll see again, like to with a new topic and also with a new session. Thank you
Thank
all.
you so much, everybody. I'm really overwhelmed, and thank you for having me, and thank you for such a. I could see a lot of comments and questions coming in. Thank you so much. Very nice to meet you all. Nice to meet you, Mike and Fine Bhai. I know Zaki Bhai.
All the
Thank
best,
you. Thanks.
and please be in touch.
Let's
Very
check in.
curious to see. Best of luck and success, and I will follow your story for sure.
Likewise. Thank you. Bye bye.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Zachary. Bye. Thank you.